Well, she was the most decorated runner in college history, a 9-time NCAA champion at the University of Wisconsin-Madison, and a 3-time U.S. Olympian.
But as the world now knows, Suzy Favor Hamilton was living a secret double life as a Las Vegas escort. Our Susan Siman sat down with Suzy to talk about the release of her new memoir called Fast Girl, and Susan's here this morning to share some of that conversation. Good morning.
Good morning, guys. A lot of people are still trying to process how did something like this happen to someone like her, but she's trying to move forward from the scandal that broke so many hearts here in Wisconsin. Suzy and her family are trying to piece their life back together by starting over in Southern California. Suzy and her husband Mark sold their home in Madison and moved with their 9-year-old daughter to suburban Los Angeles in a neighborhood that's walking distance to the beach. Suzy is in the middle of a massive media unveiling of the book that deals with very difficult subject matter in candid detail. I traveled to California to ask Suzy why she's sharing it all so publicly. Well, Suzy, you are really putting yourself out there. Why are you doing that?
This has been so difficult, and to share my story has been a huge trigger for me. And in my life, right now I'm looking to avoid those triggers. So writing the book, watching the show was very difficult, but I want to so badly help people that don't have a voice right now, who can't speak up about mental illness. I wrote this story in hopes that they will speak up, maybe look for help, share their story, which I've had so many people in the last couple days share their story with me, which is incredible, because that's the first step to recovery, is speaking out about it.
Are you blaming what you did on your disease?
Absolutely not. I do not blame bipolar for what I did. I knew exactly what I was doing. But then looking back, also, if I was never on that drug Zoloft, I would have never had the hypersexuality, without a doubt. My world changed quite quickly when I was given that drug, and I was prescribed.
Suzy and her husband Mark are still together. They're still running their real estate business. And tonight at 10, we'll share our full conversation with Suzy. We talk about what her daughter knows, what her future holds, and what she wants to say to the people of Wisconsin that are deeply disappointed by her actions. Charlotte and Adam, Suzy's memoir, Fast Girl, A Life Spent Running from Madness, is in bookstores now.
Susan, you've known her for a long time. I mean, when you talked with her about this, what's your takeaway?
I think it's a very hopeful message. I think she's being very, very brave. She is determined that by sharing her story, she is going to give a voice to people who are struggling with mental illness and who have been shamed by silence. It's interesting, the one time in our interview where she got the most emotional is when we talked about Wisconsin. She is deeply sorry that she embarrassed the state. She knows she disappointed so many people who supported her entire career, but she's hoping that people who viewed her as a role model will still see her that way, but in a different light, as a woman who was on top of the world and then hit rock bottom and then clawed her way back and did not give up. And Suzy said to her, that's a real role model. That's what she hopes people take away from it.
It takes so much courage to do what she's doing. I mean, because after all of that, it's like almost like a fall from grace.
Yes.
You could just easily pack up, go away, hide forever.
That's right.
She's putting herself out there again. You know?
And there's power in telling your story, and I think that's what she's trying to give to other people. And she and her husband are still together, they're still married, their family is intact. It's been very painful and very embarrassing for her husband, as you can imagine. And a lot of people are struggling to understand why he acted as an enabler and he allowed her to do this even when he knew it was going on. But Suzy says, luckily for her, Mark was able to separate the act from the disease. And she said that is what people who are struggling with mental illness really need. They need that unconditional love and acceptance, that rock.
Yeah.
That there's a person still there.
That's right.
That they cared for at one point, who's now.
That's
he
right.
knows who Suzy truly is.
Right.
And remembers that.
And
That's
so do we.
important.
And so do we in Wisconsin. So this story really resonates more with all of us, I think.
Wow. We have to wait till 10 o'clock tonight.
Past your bedtime.
I know.
We'll
All right.
DVR it.
Okay.
Yeah, thank
Thanks, Susan.
you.
Good to see you
Appreciate
both.
it.
You're welcome.